The romantic hero, the comic genius, but a gentle human being behind that superstar image. Yes, I'm talking about Dharmendra. As we mourn his passing, I want to discuss and understand the persona behind this legendary actor. Hi, I'm Afrida Rahman Ali, and with me is celebrity host, actor, entertainment commentator, and film journalist Atika Faruqui. Atika, good evening. Thank you for joining us and welcome.
Good evening, Afrida. How are you doing? It's not a great day to be happy about. One of the worst days for my industry, for me. But what to say? This is just law of nature. Dharamji is
You
not
know,
with us.
hmm, I know your association with Dharamji. You have shared anecdotes with me. Atika happens to be a close friend of mine as well. Atika, tell our viewers about your association. Let's start with that because you've personally known him. And I extend my condolences to you as well for losing someone like him who you knew very closely. But your what you draw from his life and share some anecdotes with us from your association.
Afrida Dharamji, and this is for all our viewers watching right now. Dharamji is somebody every man should try and emulate. Though he was the original He-Man of the industry, but such a gentle person, a man who was associated with being this beautiful imagery of masculinity on screen, with all his very bold and roles with bravado and things like that. But deep down within, he was such a cultured, such sometimes even naive, I would say, and such a childlike soul. That's what I like about him. What happens is in
Hmm.
our industry that beyond a point, actors cease to be innocent. That side of a person that makes him likable, lovable, just adorable, that goes away. And I've seen it in many actors that I've interacted with in the last 20 years. But with
Hmm.
Dharamji, it wasn't like that. Every time you met him, every time you spoke to him, I developed a close association with Dharamji in COVID times because we were
Hmm.
all at home and we were all checking in on each other and how's everybody. And I sent him a message saying, Dharamji, I hope you're fine. I hope you're hale and hearty. And छोटा हूँ बड़ी बात but कोई तकलीफ हो तो बताइएगा जरूर. And then he replied, and then I said something, and he replied with a shade. And that I bond with many people over share Shairi and love for poetry.
Yeah, yeah.
And we ended up conversing and talking for hours that day. And that thing continued for a couple of days after that.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
he was fond of poetry. We all know how close he was with Dilip Kumar. Also, he shared this
Hmm.
beautiful bond with him over poetry and literature, share Shairi, etc. And then the same
Hmm.
thing. I mean, I can't compare myself with other friends of his age, but we had that small bond between us where we
Hmm.
could exchange anecdotes, where we could exchange poetry, share shairi, things like that. My
Hmm.
association with
Hmm.
him goes back, say, from 2004 or 5, where I would often meet him at various events. In those days, he was reticent, a bit unlikely to come for the events or the release of his movies or the events of his movies, but oftentimes that he did. For some reason, we just ended up talking, and those were the days where there was no paparazzi and there were lesser people at the events. And in Mumbai, what happens, Afrida, that elderly gentlemen, elderly people, especially in the industry, they find it very heartwarming to meet people, younger people who have an interest in arts and fine arts and poetry and literature and a little more empathetic, and because this city toughens you up, isn't it? It
Hmm. Hmm.
transforms you in a way, in ways that you wouldn't want to be. But
Yeah.
Dharamji had that thing that he would often talk to people purely on the basis of love for something in common.
Hmm.
So yeah, I met the last time I had shot with him was a very, very long time ago. At the
Hmm.
at the launch of Yamla Pagla Divana, I remember we were going to shoot, but just at the right last moment, he couldn't make it. He was not well, so we just Sunny, Bobby, and Kriti and I had shot, and it was a beautiful conversation all about Punjabi culture because the movie was Yamla Pagla Divana and the love for family
Hmm.
and things like that. And
Yeah, I'll come to
several
his
times.
movies, Atika. I know that you would have looked at his filmography. You would know about the recent releases also. I want to talk about that. But before that, just quickly about his love for Urdu. which in fact one of your interviews with Dilip Kumar, where he is also seen. This is the first time I realized that he had this passion for the Urdu language, and he himself spoke, I think, pretty well, and he had a poetic mindset from what I could understand. And perhaps that is why someone like you, who's a shaira yourself, bonded with him. Tell us about that side, because I think that's a little lesser known side of him.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, his last blockbuster, Raja Rocky और रानी की प्रेम कहानी, just
Mhm.
imagine the view, and it all started with Life in a Metro. You know, Dharamji is this one man who, even while he aged, we could see him in a romantic role. We always
Mhm.
wanted to him, how would he with a woman in an equation? Right?
Mhm.
He was a romantic hero of the 60s, then he went to the He-Man image of 70s with various movies like that. And then slowly and steadily he came back to his softer self. And
Mhm.
this movie was the most beautiful surprise, where he, in
Yeah.
the character of a man, though he was married, he was still longing for the old beloved and writing poetry for her, and even, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his diction, the way
Yeah.
he recites, जिस तरह से निभाते हैं. Imagine a
Mhm.
Punjabi man speaking Urdu so well. It's just such a great
Mhm.
package on screen, right? The looks of a
Yeah.
Punjabi tall, black, and handsome man, and the Vani, I would say, of a man from Lucknow or Hyderabad. So that was this
Mhm.
beautiful package that he was. And in Raja or Rani Ki Prem Kahani, I would tell you that more than the lead couple, people were more enamored by the
Yeah.
chemistry and the
Rocky or
love
Rani? You're talking
equation
about
that
Rocky or
Shabana
Rani?
and
Yeah.
Dharam had. So yeah,
Yeah.
that makes him so enticing.
No, you touched upon few very interesting things. You also said that he had a certain innocence, which I so agree. And it's that element that makes a person very endearing. And to retain that even in his performances. Let's talk about some of his performances. But you said, he's a very handsome man, and I'm hearing a lot since the news of his passing about how handsome he was, and his the romantic hero image that he portrayed and essayed so well, because came partly from the fact that he had a large female following, isn't it? Tell us about these two things: the fact that he was this outstandingly good-looking leading male, hero, and about his female fan following.
Listen, you and I both are women, right? And we know why exactly a man extremely attractive, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Beyond the image of the whole masculine self of a man, the most
Hmm.
enticing part of a man, particularly on celluloid, is the way he is in relationships. I still remember when I was young going gaga over this song. Pal pal dil ke paas. Just remember his equation with
Hmm.
his heroines, Rakhi and
Yeah.
Jaya
Yeah.
Bhagri. Remember him in Chupke Chupke. His flair at comedy. TO2 होता है, ये होता है, नौ पदगामिनी से हम आ रहे हैं. His beautiful equation with all the actors, the senior actors
Hmm.
and the women on screen. What makes him extremely lovable, particularly for the female following, is his choice of movies, I would say.
Hmm.
First of
Hmm.
all, the moral compass of his characters was always in place. Probably
Hmm.
that is also the reason why in a country like India, in this country, your moral compass has whatever happened in his personal life. Somehow he is
Hmm.
one of the very few men, and he was good friends with Salim Saab also. He's one of the very few men in India who you can see beyond the reality of his life. There is a
Hmm.
sense of there. Some actors, some people carry a sense of disbelief. You don't even want to look at their flaws or want to look at their shortcomings. You don't want to see the other side. The
Yeah.
what you see is so beautiful and enamoring that you just want to stick to it. Just
Hmm.
imagine. No wonder the dream girl, the most beautiful girl of the industry at that time, though she had finer matches, right? She had finer
Hmm.
proposals, richer men in line for her. But what drew her to this man who was already taken, already married, that is a
Hmm.
testimony to the fact that he was extremely desirable, particularly for women.
Hmm.
And I would
Yeah.
also tell you, while his contemporary Mr. Bachchan was doing a lot of angry young man roles, right?
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
was a
Yeah.
time when this angry image was almost kidnapped, almost hijacked by Mr. Bachchan. and the red eyes, the hot ember eyes, and the broad chest, the hairy chest, that image completely went away to Mr. Bachchan. And then he slowly receded to the other side of the spectrum. His role started becoming more softer, more romantic, more family oriented, and he that could have had a link to the fact that his family life and the his children, the 4 children that he had, were growing up, and he started putting a lot of emphasis also in the interviews, also in the personal image that he that went out in the media, that he was a family man. What better image to carry in India for an actor than to be a person who can handle relationships, who can maneuver through relationships, who can navigate through complex relationships, including having I would say, a little nuanced family life. And he was so graceful about it always. He was so elegant about it always. And we would never, we had never heard any kind of a controversy or something that really brought a bad name. I remember Yusuf Saab, Dilip Kumar, also had a bit of a trajectory in his personal life where, his on-screen image was a little holier than thou, and whatever happened in his personal life. Salim Khan Saab also went through that. So, somebody who spent so much time with the actors, once when Amir had another divorce and married and came out of a marriage, somebody asked me, a news anchor, that what do you make of it? I said, I don't make anything of it. You can't have it all. You can't be the best actor, the best artist, the best performing artist in the world, and you can't have everything going perfectly well at home. You see, most of the world artists, everybody has that one black sheep in the biodata or the resume or the life story. So if you just can have a shut eye towards somebody's shortcomings or what went wrong in his career or what he did wrong in his career or life, and just focus on the good, I think Dharamji had a lot more good than bad to offer to the world, to teach the world.
And today,
I tell every man, please be like Dharamji. Why? Because I've seen him closely. The kind of a father he was. Still, Bobby and Sunny, when I spoke to them, or even any media interview, things like that, they used to cry. I haven't seen another star son crying when they talk about their father. So I think that makes him a complete bouquet of all the emotions of life.
yeah, we can see that. And in fact, Atika, let me tell you, the world is, acknowledging the persona that he is. I'm just showing our viewers right now what New York Times has put out. It's there on my screen right now, and I'm just going to read it because the font is too small. This is how the New York Times is reporting Dharmendra's passing, a Bollywood actor of easygoing machismo who became one of India's best known and most versatile stars. Died on Monday in Mumbai. He was 89, nicknamed He-Man for his rugged appeal and impish charisma. Dharmendra appeared in more than 300 productions over a career spanning nearly 7 decades, including the films Phool Aur Patthar, Mera Gaon Mera Desh, Chupke Chupke, Sholay. How can we not talk about Sholay, Atika? Let's do the honors and talk about Sholay. I'll tell you, this entire Pani Ki Tanki, that scene. I mean, it is every time it evokes laughter, doesn't it? And that whole Basanti scene, I mean, how many times have we enjoyed that? I would say, even personally for me, Sholay would remain most memorable. And also, a very close second would be Chupke Chupke. His comic timing, that should the chaste Hindi scenes with, Uttam Kumar. It was one of those, that era, of course. That's why I think a lot of people are saying end
Yeah.
of an era, because you don't see that sort of cinema anymore. It's all passe now, is it, Atika?
Yeah, because the kind of movies that I'm seeing these days, Afrida, I'm not too happy about it, to be honest. There isn't that streak of innocence or realism or just the humor in realism anymore. Uh, a lot is directly, the movies are written or intended to be a blockbuster. It doesn't happen like that. Arts is not designed like that. वो आमिर खान का डायलॉग है कि पहले काबिल बनो फिर कामयाबी झक मार के तुम्हारे पीछे आए दौड़ेगी, right? Typically, in an art form, first you have to seek brilliance in the format. First you have to seek relativity in the format. अगर वो चीज दिल को नहीं छूती है तो फिर वो जेब को कैसे छुएगी, right? So when you talk about Chupke Chupke and you talk about Sholay, and Mr. Dharamji was not even supposed to do that character, right? And it was just
Okay.
sheer love for Hema ji that he said,
No,
no,
we
I
don't know.
want to do it
Right?
because
Please tell us. We don't know. He was not supposed to. He was not supposed to
yeah,
play
yeah,
lead
yeah.
in
So
Sholay.
absolutely,
Hmm.
Amit ji was not supposed to play this character. Amit ji's character was supposed to be done by Shatrughan ji. Dharamji was not supposed to play this character. Gabbar was going to be essayed by Danny, and Sanjeev Kumar was supposed to be played by some other actor. So
Mhm.
there's this book called Fooled by Randomness. So I would
Mhm.
say it was the most random movie ever made where it was not intended to go where it actually went or it
Mhm.
actually reached. And if you talk about his character, just I would say he had that masculinity without toxicity. He
Mhm.
could go gaga about a heroine. I mean, imagine that song when he's with Rekha ji, uh, मैं तू मैनू प्यार करती है, and he's in the middle of this whole crowd
Yeah, I remember.
shouting
Yes,
behind the
yes.
girl saying मैं जट यमला पगला दीवाना इतनी सी
Yeah,
बात
yeah.
न जाना कि वो मैंने प्यार करती है. And there are so many songs in which he's literally chasing a girl, the love of his life. He's chasing her amidst a crowded situation, amidst people in bazaars, but it doesn't sound toxic.
Mhm.
It sounds
Yeah.
lovable.
That's
It
what I
sounds,
think you said right at the beginning. There's that innocence, there's that vulnerability,
yeah,
which perhaps very few actors have. Why you maintain the machismo, which is what the New York Times is saying. I mean, he was macho in his own way. Nothing to take
yeah,
away from that. He was rugged, the original He-Man. At the same time, to also have that innocence to, like you said, carry off these scenes, which in today's times will be called stalking, or perhaps, wouldn't even be there in today's movies. Because
yeah.
times have changed. I want to, before we conclude, ask you a few things about today's emotional moment. Of course, his last rites that took place, and it was I'm just putting out this picture of Hema Malini ji. She was there. The media was, as always, of course, putting out a lot of videos. I don't want to just go into all of those videos, but just the fact that you had Deepika Padukone, you had Salman Khan, you had all of them in attendance. This was indeed a massive loss for the film industry. It's something you and me are talking about him in terms of paying respect to his filmography, but at the same time, nothing to take away from the fact that this will leave a dent in the hearts and minds of a lot of people who respected him or regarded him, and for them, today is indeed a sad day.
It's one of the saddest days. So कहते हैं ना कि हिंदी सिनेमा की तारीख में ये तारीख
Hmm.
लिखी जाएगी. हमारी पूरी हिस्ट्री में आज का दिन सबसे बदनुमा और यादगार, खराब तरीके से यादगार दिनों में से एक होगा. Because
Hmm.
see, somewhere we knew that he's an aging man, he wouldn't be with us any longer. But just the idea of it that one day may come where Dharamji would not be alive was repulsive. And the same
Hmm.
goes for Mr. Bachchan. We
Hmm.
can't imagine a world of Mumbai,
Hmm.
Bollywood,
Hmm.
Hindi film industry without
Hmm.
Dharamji, Mr. Bachchan,
Hmm.
several actors. He's one of them. When Dilip
Hmm.
Kumar Saab passed away, we had a similar
Hmm.
feeling. How could
Hmm.
this happen? Jabki Dilip Kumar was probably like 50 to 60 movies. That he didn't have that kind of a long career. And Dharamji's next movie is going to release next month, 21.
Yes,
So
Ikis,
imagine
yeah.
this man who was continuously working, had the longest career graph. 70 years is no small feat. Though he lived
Yeah.
in his farmhouse outside of Mumbai, but he came, he shot, he was active. He was not even very. What I liked about him, he beyond a point, he gave up the idea of looking too good on screen.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a very important and a very nuanced transition every actor has to make, where you have to
Yeah.
let go of your hero image and start doing
Hmm.
things that
Hmm.
you enjoy. Many actors still have that issue, right? That they
Hmm.
want to sound larger than life. But what Dharamji did was he was just having fun. In Life in a Metro, he was having fun, and that showed that the man is there just to have fun. And
He
that's
was
why
adorable.
that
Yeah.
yes, that love equation between two elderly couple, between an elderly
Hmm.
couple, was so
Hmm.
enticing. So this is
Yeah.
one of the actually the worst. I didn't go there because I knew it's the at I will tell you another side of the story. on such days and in such moments, it's best not to overwhelm the family.
Yeah,
Calling them,
absolutely.
messaging them, just landing up there adds to the chaos. They're already vulnerable, they're already grieving. It's best to stay at home and pray for the soul. That's the best gift we can give to a legendary actor like Dharamji, whoever is watching right now. I urge all of you, wherever you are, whichever prayer that you do, please sit tonight and pray for his soul, for all the
Yeah.
love, all the romance, all the beautiful emotions, the friendship, the songs, the lovely characters that he's shared with us, the lovely emotions that he's given to us that we'll always remember. Pray for his soul. May God
Yeah.
bless his soul and may he always stay in the highest place in heaven, Dharamji.
Thank you so much, Atika. On that note, and really, like you said, heroes like him, they don't pass away. They kind of transcend and become immortal. And I think we tried to do justice at least to his legacy by talking about his movies, his roles, and you put it out so nicely for our viewers. Atika, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing your
Okay.
insights, your personal experiences. Appreciate it. Thanks very much, Atika. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
My pleasure. You too, Amrita.
Thank you.